I'm excited about making this video this morning, which is ironic because during this morning's meditation, which initially felt very messy and just like my inner space was not a nice place to be, I was feeling really, well, I had some thoughts about not wanting to make these videos anymore, and I just felt in such a difficult, negative place. So let me talk through why this shift took place. So what happened when I started meditation was I started to feel what my mind perceived as anxious and fearful, and immediately my mind started hypothesizing, not even hypothesizing, it was immediately it knew I'm anxious because I'm worried about our finances, and okay, what can I do to fix this? Oh God, this is terrible, I've got to start thinking of strategies to make money, and it just started firing off all these thoughts. And at the same time there was this physical sensation of what my mind perceived to be anxiety and stress. But I'd recently started rereading The Power of Now and reading about the pain body and how the pain body is essentially physical sensations that arise in the body as a result of old experiences, old emotions that have got trapped and held in one's body. And that what tends to happen is that the physical sensation arises and then the mind starts to respond to it and explain it and try to fix it or whatever, or spirals into a very negative place. And I could feel this was on the verge of taking place. But what I did was I brought my awareness to the physical sensation, which was this kind of tightness in my solar plexus. I can still feel it now, less intensely. And as I brought my awareness to the physical sensation, just the pure physical sensation, without labeling it as an emotion or trying to analyze its meaning, when I brought my awareness to the physical sensation, it dissipated and softened and didn't feel so intense. It even disappeared for a while. And so this already was interesting because I didn't need to try to let it go. Just by bringing my awareness to it, it released a little bit. And also through doing that, I saw that I don't need, the natural tendency is for the mind to, as I said, to get fired up and try to explain its way through the sensation or get dragged into the drama of it. But just focusing on the sensation without any judgment or labeling already affected how my mind responded. My mind went quieter. But as I continued to do meditation, I saw that this same physical sensation kept arising, and each time I would bring my awareness to it and it would soften. But there was a point where it arose perhaps more intensely than before, and so I brought my awareness to it and I was just with it, just feeling it without judging, without analyzing, just witnessing it, just being with it. And the question arose in my mind, or some perhaps deeper layer of my mind: what is it that you need to release? This was speaking to the physical sensation I was feeling in the solar plexus. What is it that you need to release in order to be released? What is it you need in order to be released? And at first I was just quiet. I didn't sense any response. And then 2 words came: awareness and acceptance. And so for the rest of my meditation, I basically was holding space for this physical sensation. Again, there was no drama there. There was no identification with it. It was just witnessing it as an energetic vibration in the body, an energetic experience. And I was just being with it as if like showering it with loving kindness. There was just holding it, but with kindness and with acceptance. And for the most part, the mind was very quiet during this process. Every so often it would fire up with, some kind of thoughts related to what was going on or not, something unrelated. But most of the time, when I noticed then the mind firing up, I just brought my awareness back to the physical sensation of this pain body. And it's a very familiar sensation. There's been a gazillion times that the same sensation has come up and then usually set off a string of thoughts that often don't end up with me in a good state of mind or a good state overall. But I just continued to hold this physical sensation in my awareness with this loving kindness. And it didn't completely resolve, it didn't go away. By the time the hour timer went off for my meditation, I realized that for the first time not for the first time, but for the first time in some days, I didn't struggle with sitting for an hour, and didn't have to move or change position. I was just intently aware of this experience in my pain body, to use Eckhart Tolle's term. And I was just holding it for what it was, a sensation. No drama, no stories, no trying to fix it. And so I feel like this sensation may continue to hang around for some of today. As I said, I can still feel it in my solar plexus. And that's okay. I don't need to attach worry and fear to it from my mind. And I feel like this is an important aspect to this whole practice. It feels like a learning, a valuable learning that I can take forward with me into my continuing internal meditation practice and also into life. In day-to-day life, there isn't always the time to offer the awareness that I was able to in a quiet meditation situation, but perhaps some aspect of that can be practiced even amidst the activity of the daily goings on. Perhaps I'll continue to report on this in future videos. Let's see.